things that I was like, wait, I want to know more about that. Wait, I want to know more about that. So first going like way back and by the way, thank you for sharing your story. I love hearing people's origin stories. And like you said, I love that you weren't born that way. You continually opened yourself up and learned more. And this podcast is about personal development and spirituality. And I believe that humans are all born with these kind of gifts that we just don't tap into them. So I think that's really inspirational for listeners to hear. So the first question I had is, you asked God if God existed and you got an answer. So
I
can you
did.
elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I say God because I don't use male or female because the way I experienced God was not uh, a gender. It was, um, but what I experienced was God. This is how it seemed to me. God removed the energy from their energy from my understanding, my experience, and I felt what the world was like without God's presence. And it was the equivalent of a body being thrown in a vacuum. There was just like, oh, there's nothing here. There's, it's dead. It was horrible. And just like if you were gasping for air, then God brought themselves back in. And I'm like, oh, so you're everywhere and everything. Wow. And I had such a strong sense that God was uh, loving, intelligent, caring. Like, who expected to get an answer from that one? Don't you? Doesn't that being have more important things to do to some kid on the verge of teenagehood? And yet, I got an answer. And at that point, I didn't doubt it, but it's not a lot of things that you can run back and say, "Hey, mom, dad, friends, I just had an experience with God," and they're like, "Yeah, right."